We leave Moorea after 4 wonderful nights at the Moorea Sunset Beach Hotel, and we are making our way to our 4th island, Raiatea. This is the second longest flight we have in our itinerary as we fly the 200 kilometers between the islands. We get to spend 5 nights on Raiatea and have a couple of excursions planned for this island. Let's get started. The inter-island flights by Air Tahiti have been great. The flights are frequent and the service has been excellent. The biggest challenge has been the weight limit for your carry-ons. It's 5 kilograms or 11 pounds. That's just enough for my laptop, portable monitor, and case. The power brick has to go into checked baggage.
That's the next stop over there, Bora Bora, which is about 35 kilometers from here.
In Raiatea, we stayed at the Sunset Beach Motel. The owner, Moana, picked us up from the airport, and before we went to the resort, he actually took us into town so we could do some grocery shopping. So we did a 20-minute power grocery shop just to get some stuff because we actually had a kitchen at this resort. The resort itself is on a huge property right on the water. There is loads of coconut trees and lots of vegetation. There is about 10 bungalows mixed between waterfront and garden bungalows. Ours was number 7, right on the water. Bungalows are well separated from each other's, giving each of them loads and loads of privacy, which we really appreciated. And for the first time, the windows actually had screens on them. We hadn't seen that before in all of the other accommodations we'd gone to. Unfortunately, it did not have air conditioning, and yes, I know we're spoiled, but we really liked our air conditioning in the bedrooms. It makes sleeping so much easier. The other new thing in this particular resort is they had a barbecue, which you had to use coconut husks to power, or for fuel. Dan did it. We barbecued a couple times. It definitely took some to get used to, but it was really neat, and we had a great fish dinner and a great chicken dinner. Being right in the water meant that we could basically go down and just go for a swim. Now, it was very shallow, but it was so nice just to be able to go out of our bungalow and go for a swim and then look back and see the whole resort. The resort had a long dock going into the water. It also had a zip line, which we did not try, but they had some old baguettes out at the end of the dock so you could feed the fish. That was highly amusing and we quite enjoyed it.
Our big excursion during our stay in Raiatea was the Taha'a Lagoon Tour, put on by ARE Tours. This tour took us to a local rum factory, a pearl farm, and a vanilla farm. We also got to drift snorkel an area called the Coral Gardens. This was an all-day tour that circumnavigated Raiatea's sister island of Taha'a and provided us with lunch and entertainment.
So we're just gonna have maybe 1 hour difference between each of us. So we arrive first to have lunch, and after when we're gonna be chilling, 2 on the boat will arrive to have lunch at the so let me let's go. Can we say that as company Yaurana Hiti? À trois. Un, deux, trois. Ah, ils sont mieux dressés.
We were picked up at 8 a.m. from our resort by boat. We then went to Uturoa Harbor to pick up the rest of the tour group. From there, we went up the west side of Taha'a to the rum factory. This was a small local business that has won awards in Europe for their rums. The rum making process starts with the crushing of the local sugar cane that is the key ingredient in their rums. This is not a large operation, but they take a lot of pride in their products.
Au bout de 4 heures de distillation, on aura 1 litre. Cette fois, il a fait le tabac. À la fin de la distillation, la
Next stop for us was the pearl farm. Here they get oysters to produce pearls by inserting a small yellow ball to start the pearl growing process. The oysters are returned to the sea and brought back a couple of times in the pearl growing process. This process can take many months depending upon the desired size of the pearl. Once the pearl growing process is completed, the oysters are harvested and sold. After the pearl farm, we did a drift snorkel through the coral gardens. This was a great snorkel. Lots of fish, maxima clams, anemones, and colorful coral. The current carried us through the pass between the two motus, so we did not even have to swim. The only drawback was that this was a very popular location, so there were a lot of people in the water. The bright blue item shown here is a maxima clam. Much of the coral showed signs of bleaching, but some of it still retained its great color. The light blue is another maxima clam. Now it was time for lunch and some downtime. As we traveled to the location for lunch, we passed the Paul Gauguin cruise ship. This is a small luxury cruise ship that does tours around Tahiti. ARE Tours has a private motu where they serve lunch and give their customers time to rest.
Everyone know. Voilà. Poisson cru au lait de coco. In English, poisson cru au lait de coco.
The guides from the boats and the ARE lunch crew provided some great entertainment for us, and the food was really good too.
Now, is it okay, guys, if I end with a prayer? Yes. Oh. Basket boleh. Wah, bien sûr, je la fais en tasse, I'm gonna do it in Tahition, no? Ya tuh, jamu ya tuh ni matu ya, oi, ti matu hor omai, turut matu tino, ya rat matu waro ya, oi. Ah. Alright, maintenant, tout le monde répète après moi, repeat after me, guys. Taha'a Pearl!
Taha'a Pearl!
Kalau
As you will notice in the video, the tour guides all wore the Tahitian perio or loincloths. This was a signature item for ARE tours. Our guide seemed to be the group leader and performed a coconut show.
Deuxième étape, on va appuyer vers le bas, push it down. This is the softest part. Vous prenez quelque chose, take a knife, anything, fais tout ce que tu veux. Perpendiculairement across, tape pile sur le trait on the line, ça casse ta coco dans ce sens. You see in front of us, guys, we have Hiti Changpo. That's his full name, Hiti Changpo. That means c'est le petit-fils de Jackie Chan. Grandson of Jackie Chan, hein? What?
The last stop in our excursion was the vanilla farm. The vanilla farm is nestled in a picturesque location at the very end of Apu Bay. They had some homemade vanilla ice cream that Linda and I really enjoyed. The other highlight was the avocado tree that had some huge avocados on it. After resting up for a couple of days, we were off to explore the island of Raiatea by car. This 3-hour tour included stops at 2 heritage sites, a lookout, and the town of Raiatea.
The first stop on our adventure was the Marae Ta'ainu. It is a meeting place and it was one of the oldest marais in Raiatea. There are huge blocks of coral surrounding a central area which had a bunch of ferns, etc. It was kind of interesting to see, and it was just really neat to see some of the ancient places. And there was actually a church there also that had been built in the same location. Our next stop was the Belvedere Va'aroa, on that one road that actually goes across the island, or part of the island. You can see going back to where we came from and see the ocean, but the overlook really looks over the Va'aroa Valley, and that's their main agricultural area in Raiatea.
Marae Tapu Tapu Atea is at the center of the Polynesian Triangle, which extends from Hawaii in the north to New Zealand in the south, Tonga in the west to Easter Island in the east. It was the traditional meeting place for the many Polynesian tribes. It was also the place where the living intersected with their ancestors and the gods. Needless to say, this site was very important to the Polynesian culture. Uturoa is the largest town on the island of Raiatea. It is the commercial heart of the island and has the largest deep water dock that allows cargo to be shipped to and from Raiatea. The harbor area is always busy with tour boats, and this is where we rented our car. Much of the town is old, but there are some new businesses like the Carrefour Market shown in the video. The murals reminded us of Enemines and Linda's Uncle Carl. That's it for Raiatea. Up next, Bora Bora. Thanks for watching.